You guys remember that, like, that thing that came with a Mario game, like, I don't know, like, in 2021? That, like, Bowser's Fury? Did you guys see that? Did you guys see, like, Donkey's video on that? This was kind of a big deal. I feel like a lot of people didn't play Bowser's Fury. And a lot of people who are, like, Mario fans like me probably missed out on it because it came with a re-release of a Wii U game. Pretty much the whole idea was that there was no overworld. There was no level selecting. There was no hub. You just go. You're going from level to level by walking to the next level. This was like a really, really cool thing, and honestly where I think the next 3D Mario is gonna go. The reason I bring this up is Echo Point Nova has kind of used this in a really amazing way, combining these super fast-paced movement shooters with a bit of 3D platforming, and in addition, the whole idea of there's not like a loading screen in between levels. You're traveling to each new level. There's like a ton of these levels on this big open world. And I mean, not to be cringy, but like whenever you see something off in the distance, yeah, you're gonna be going over there. Pretty much most of the things you see off in the distance, that's its own level. That's its own biome. There's different biomes. It's gonna have like different terrain, different enemy types and stuff like that. Different like hazards you're gonna have to face. You find these little beacons, and these are basically like, you can teleport between these. These are their individual levels. These usually have some sort of collectible you need to acquire, like these orbs that give you more slots for your perks, which I'll talk about later. And the other type of collectible are hats, which are just cosmetic items that you're going to find around the world. I found that doing a lot of the side content and additional collectibles was just as fun as doing the main shit. I was actually surprised with the way that weapons work in this game. You have different loadouts, and I think there's like 6 overall classes of weapons, being explosive, sniper, assault rifle, SMG, shotgun, pistol. I think that's all of them. Each gun has a kill requirement that it needs to get its attachments unlocked. Usually this is a silencer or some sort of sight. Sometimes it's like extended mags. It just depends on what weapon you're using. Also, you can master your weapons. What this means is I think you get like 90 kills per weapon, and you can put a skin on it. So it's a little bit extra customization. It's really cool. It's something to chase after, and I loved it. I love that shit. And then you have your perks. These vary. There are a shit ton of them, and there are a lot of fun ones to mess around with. Most perks require like an energy amount. It's those orbs you've been collecting, so there is a reason to go after these orbs if you want to basically like become overpowered, become Superman. And those are just like perks. Like, I haven't even talked about what you can do just physically in the game. Bro, you can literally hoverboard up a ramp, do a backflip, grapple onto a giant, I don't even know what the fuck, the big fucking airplane. I don't even know the fuck. Whip out your shotgun, shoot that guy. Then you're, okay, then you're like, I'm gonna zoom around here. Then you grind rail on the wall. Then you jump, and then, imagine the people complaining about Omni movement in Black Ops 6 looking at this game. It is, dude, it's too much. Like, for me, it's pushing me to my limit, and I loved every second of it. I did decide to play on the hardest difficulty, and I would recommend that as your starting point. I think that they handled the difficulty extremely well. Almost at times, it feels like I was playing on normal. Now, towards the end of the game, you're gonna really be pushing your skills, but I feel like the game gives you time to learn and figure out the game mechanics before it starts throwing too much shit at you. That being said, if you are not used to these kind of games, it will be overwhelming at first. There is a lot of shit happening. There's a lot of abilities you have. There's a lot of ways that you can move around. You are basically free to kind of do what you want. You want to like stay up in the air and snipe people from below, trying to like figure out a way to stay in the air constantly with different perk combinations? Yeah, you can do that. Or you can just slot on a perk that lets you shoot at the ground and you just propel yourself into the air. Yeah, you can do that as well. There are some additional abilities you will unlock in later parts of the game, specifically with the boss fights. You get some really nice abilities. And I think that's where the addictive part of this game, like, I really couldn't put this game down until I finished it. The amount of options you have, you're constantly swapping shit out, you're constantly leveling up your guns, customizing, earning new hats, platforming, grapple hook, then you're fighting, then you're platforming again, then you're doing something else. And I didn't stop there. I ended up 100%ing it because I have no fucking life and I love video games. It took me around 15 hours to 100%, which is not actually a bad amount of time. I think that's actually like a good amount of time for something like this. It was really satisfying and fun to just have a good, solid package. Like, I think this game's like 25 bucks. And yeah, if you do the dollar per hour shit, you're not gonna get your dollar per hour. But honestly, the 15 hours in this game were so much fun. I think it is worth it without even being on sale. Surprisingly enough, I had already played the devs' previous game, Severed Steel, which was also another really awesome, kind of had the same kind of vibe of movement. You're like jumping around double jumps, except this one was more indoor areas and you use slow-mo a lot. Greylock Games Studios have released 2 games, and honestly, so far, these 2 are slam dunks for me. I'm a big fan of these devs. I'm very excited to see what they come out with next. They seem to support these games pretty well after they're released. So I'm expecting more content for Echo Point Nova. I'm expecting maybe a DLC expansion, maybe even some free updates with like guns and stuff like that. I am all for that, and I will be returning to Echo Point Nova as soon as they do so. I'm excited to see more indie games come out similar to these games. I love shooters, and honestly, the indie shooter game has been so fucking good recently, and it's only getting better. All right, I'm gonna call it there. Until next time, have a great day.